Yeah, that's a pretty sweet display, but not as sweet as this tripod for my camera. BigtreeTech reached out to me and asked if I would like to review their Raspberry Pad 5. I said, sure, why not? This is the Raspberry Pad 5. This is an I/O board from BigtreeTech with an IPS display. And what do we have in here? We have a card, we have some foam shaped as a 5, pretty unique packaging. We have a little box here, and it just has a USB cord, USB-C, and some screws in there. We'll open that a little bit later. This is the Raspberry Pad 5 I/O board. It's a 5-inch display, and it came with this 32 gig CM4 module. Let's go ahead and open this up. If you've watched my channel before, you'll see that I use callouts a lot. Basically identification instead of pointing at things. It seems like BigtreeTech likes them too, and they have them on their site, showing what this board's all about. And frankly, their callouts are a lot better than mine. Well, this is an IPS display. It's a product size of 121 millimeters by 75.9, and it's a 5-inch Freedom Unit display, 800 by 480 pixels. You can adjust the brightness, and you can flip the screen with just one tap of a button. And it uses the CM4 module that just placed right on the back of it. And we have the RTC and 40 pin. And we have extensive ports, 3 USBs, TFT card, CAN USB switch, CR1220 battery backup, HDMI, Ethernet port, and it's USB-C port on here. It can be used with Clipper, and it's also could be used for many other things like just a pad, microcomputer, robot, you name it. Now this kit did come with for $229 with a CM4 with 32 gigs of onboard storage, and we are not going to be using the SD card expansion on the board since everything is going to be directly flashed to this module. And all you have to do is line it up, push it down, hear a nice click, and make sure everything's nice and flush. And then you're going to use 4 screws to fasten it down. You could use a wow stick if you want, or a manual screwdriver, your choice. Now setup and the configuration is pretty straightforward. I'm going to include all my steps, 10-step process, in the description below. Well, technically it's 11, but I'm saying that if you want to print the case, if you have a 3D printer, you can do that optionally. And you can find all this on their BigtreeTech GitHub. There you saw the surrounding part, top part of the case, and now here's the bottom access panel. I'm going to go ahead and print these out really quick. I used the Polymaker Silk Purple, not just regular PLA. I did it on the Prusa. I just got it, so I'm just testing it out. I think it came out rather nice. We could, of course, print it out with whatever material you like. I don't think TPU will be the best choice, but since we're going to be using this for Octoprint, Octodash, I'm going to just use that. You're basically going to want to push this in on the side where the USB ports are, and the Ethernet socket kind of locks it all in place. It's a real nice case, and I suggest that you do this first before you attach any wires to it. Next, we're going to just go to the PDF. I suggest using the PDF because this way you could copy and paste. If you just go to their website and click on it without downloading it, you will not be able to copy and paste any of the links that they provide. So it'll be kind of a pain. This helps avoid those steps. So if you download it, it's the correct way to go. Next, we're going to switch the Pi to basically flash mode. We're going to move this switch to the left. And then we have these 2 little dip switches that are on the bottom here. And we're going to move those to on. Pretty hard to see. If you have a pair of tweezers like I do, or a really, really tiny screwdriver, you might be able to get it. There we go. Zoomed in so you can take a look. All 3 need to be in that position before we can flash the CM4. Speaking of PCBs and circuit boards, are you looking for a PCB manufacturer? Well, today's video sponsor is actually PCBWay. You're looking for a standard PCB, or maybe advanced PCB, a rigid or flexible PCB, or maybe some assembly. They will also do a SMD stencil for you. If that's not enough, they do offer CNC and 3D printing services as well. Well, if you want, just go ahead and generate a quote today. I appreciate PCBWay for sponsoring this video. Now let's continue on to the BigtreeTech Raspberry Pad 5. And the next step will be downloading Rpi Boot. And this is for Windows. There is a Mac version out there if you so choose. We're going to go ahead and hit install. This will take a few seconds to go through this process as well. Basically what this will allow it to do is make the CM4 writable. So we could install an OS on there. And then we're going to hit finish. Now we're going to go ahead and run Rpi Boot. Please make sure that you have it plugged in with the USB cord provided. And this will take a few minutes as well. You may hear it disconnect and reconnect here. And then you'll know that's complete when we get the notification right here that go ahead and plug it. And next we're going to do the installer for the Raspberry Pi OS. You're going to click on download. Again, this is for Windows tutorial. And we are going to choose the OS. Now I'm going to use this for the Octoprint, and we're going to choose the other and 3D printing and Octoprint right here, and we're going to choose the onboard storage. Next we are going to click on the little gear. This is your configuration. Now if you already have more than one Pi, I suggest you rename this. This is going to be named for me Pad 5, and then you can see it says .local at the end. We're going to enable SSH. And now we're going to set a password, username and password. I suggest that you always reset your password. And then you can click on the box for your wireless. And it'll automatically populate. You can select your region. And I found it pretty hard to scroll. You just use the keyboard for that. And now you can just confirm everything. And we're going to hit save. Now they definitely made this process a lot easier. And then you're going to hit yes to the writing. And this will take quite a bit of time. So if you want to go ahead and grab that frosty beverage, let the dogs out, see a movie. No, it's not that long. But with the magic of film editing, we are going to pass this next stage up right now. You're going to see it says finalizing, and then it's done. And then you're going to hit continue. Pretty straightforward process. Now we're done with this Raspberry Pi installer, and we're going to check the documentation. Well, we need to enable the USB 2.0 hub and do the display, but before that we need to move these switches back to the default position. So we're going to need to grab our little screwdriver or tweezers or something and find these little dip switches and try to move them back. There's one and there's two. You know what, now I can just pop this back out because I forgot to do something. And now we can also flip that switch in the same time here. Move it back to the default position. I forgot to pull the film off. Here we go. Now we're done with Peely time. We're going to insert the Pi in there, USB first, and push down on the RJ45 Ethernet port. Plug it into your computer, and we're going to wait for that green status light to stop flickering. Basically, then you'll know that it's finished booting up. Now we're going to proceed forward. Next, we need to communicate with the Pi. And before we do that, we want to make sure it's up and running. Mine was named Pad 5, so I just typed in pad5.local into my browser and saw it was up and running. Then we're going to go ahead and install Putty. It's one that I use. This will allow me to communicate with the Pi. After it's installed, go ahead and launch it. I'm going to type in pad5.local, and I'm going to click on open. And I'm going to get a prompt, and I'm going to just choose accept, because we got to accept our lives away to everything. And we're going to log in with the Pi and the password that I set during the configuration. Now as we head back to the PDF, you'll notice that we need to enable the USB 2.0, and that's not the full string that we need to enter. So on my little cheat sheet here, I have the whole command line that you need to put in there. So you're going to right click, you're going to choose copy, and then we're going to paste that in there, and it's going to run really quick. See, it's already done. Next, we want to download the display drivers, and here you'll be able to copy and paste it directly from here, or you could go to my little cheat sheet below. And we're going to copy, right-click copy, and I need to find Putty again. There it is. Enter your password, right-click paste, and this one takes just like a second or two, and now the drivers are done for that. Pretty easy. Next, we're going to install Octodash, and again, I provide the URL below. Then you will be directed to their GitHub. What's nice about this? You can just scroll right through all of this and find the command line. It's also in the description below. You can just copy this, and we are going to just put this in our Putty session as soon as I can find it. And there it is. Just right click, paste. And this will take quite a long time to get to the next prompt. But once you get to this prompt, you'll get a notification here that you could now select your plugins. You're going to use the spacebar to select what feature you want, and I'm just picking some things that I find pretty interesting, whether I use them or not. And once you're done selecting all these, you're going to hit enter to finalize. Now again, you're going to just pick whatever you want, and some of these things I have no clue what they do, but again, I find them interesting, so I'm selecting them. And then once you're done, hit enter. And these plugins will take a few minutes to install, and then it's going to ask you some, if you want the security implications. I just hit yes, blah blah blah, and then do you want Octodash to automatically start? Definitely, so I hit yes. And then it's while installing the sudo and root access, yes. And then we'll get to the next one. Shall I reboot? Yes. Now the reboot will take a minute or two, and once it's done, we can now finish the configuration for Octoprint. Now I'm going to go through mostly defaults for this, and we're going to click on next for a backup because I do not have a backup to restore it from. Now we're going to set up a username and password so we could access the Octoprint, and you may get some under voltage notifications. Don't worry about that. You could go ahead and close it. We'll take care of that later. And then we're going to just click on enable connectivity check, click next. Configure anonymous usage tracking. I'm going to disable that. Again, you can choose whatever you want, and I'm going to choose next. And this is where we get to set the name of our printer. What name should I use? Let's see. How about Burner? Yeah, that sounds like a good name.
Burn the truth. Burn the truth.
What is Burner, may you ask? Well, that is my CR6SC. I think it's a pretty suitable name for it. What do you think? Then click next. And all done. Pretty simple. And then hit next. Now let's take a look at the display, the tiny display. Hey, we got some stuff on here. We're going to hit next, and we're going to click on the Octoprint instance. And we're going to hit send request. Now we go back onto the screen, and we give a permission. Look at that. Pretty cool, huh? And we're just going to hit allow access request. That easy. It works so seamlessly together. Then we're going to click on next on the screen, and we're going to basically just do all the defaults here. This is where you could select your plugins, and like I said, I don't know what half of these do, but maybe I'll research it later and find out. But this is where you could definitely choose which plugins, and then we're going to hit done, and it's initializing. But right now it's not attached to the printer yet, but we still have a little bit more configurations to do here. And I want to install the printer and make sure everything is set correctly. So this will be for the CR6SE, 225 by 250. 250. There we go. And then we're going to hit confirm. Eventually, I'll hit confirm. There we go. Next, I want to have a plugin for time-lapse. And so we're going to search the plugins, and you could either type it to search for it, but that was actually just two below for Octolapse. And I'm going to just choose install. This will allow you to do time lapses of your 3D prints, which I really like doing. Once it's done, it's going to want to reboot, and just go ahead and proceed. After it's rebooted, now we could go ahead and configure the profile for the time lapse. And we're going to add a new printer profile. This is different from the other profile, the connectivity profile. So I typed in the name even though it won't matter, but I'm going to just click on Creality 3D, enter 3, and it's going to say, well, now we're going to take that name away from you. Okay, fine. But I'm going to add it back because I want my burner name in there. So it's a burner. And we're going to go ahead and scroll down, and we're going to use Cura 4.2 or above. And this is all for, you pick for what you're using. If you go into your slicer, I'm going to print a layer height of 0.12. Since I'm running an all metal hot end on this, my retraction is at 3.5, speed 35, travel speed 150, and that's about it. Save and go. And on the left is where you will upload your pre-sliced file to print. Now we're actually going to power this off. You just hit Control and hit the power button. And you want to always do a power off. And just don't disconnect, because right now my 5 volt is hooked up to my computer, and I want to take care of all this now. And it's time to seal this thing up too. But before we do that, I want to install the ribbon cable for the camera. Now you could get these cameras. The link is in the description below of what I got. It was only like around 20 bucks for this camera, and it's basically plug and play. You're going to insert the ribbon where you see the connections after you pull up that tab, and then you're going to slide that tab down to lock it in place. And now we're going to feed this ribbon cable through the back plate. Make sure the flat side is facing outward, and slide it all the way through. Again, we're going to check the pins and make sure that the pins match up with the pins inside. We're going to then pull these tabs out to make sure that the ribbon cable could slide nice and freely in. Push the ribbon cable in, and then push down both sides. Make sure it's nice and secure. Yep, not going anywhere. Pretty easy, huh? Now we're going to bust out the manual screwdriver and use the 4 screws that were provided and secure the back plate on. Pretty easy. For right now, I just temporarily set it up, hooked up the printer, and we're going to just go through the display. Right now it's reading off the SD card instead of anything that's on the Octopi itself, the CM4. You could choose to heat up the nozzle. You could then heat up the bed, hit the back, and the fan speed. Very nice, elegant display here. Control, it has everything that you need. You know, watch. Click down. Goes down. Pretty nice. And then you have leveling, and you got home. Yeah, it's basically all the features that you need. And so say that you're ready to go in print mode. You could also click on the display. Let's go back there one more time. You can hit adjust, and you could adjust your temperatures, fan speed, and print speed. And then if you go down, you can also do your Z offset baby steps. Very nice looking display. And if you push down, you get all these other options: cool down, power, leveling, and home. Now temporarily I have this set up where it's just powering up off of a 5 volt USB, and I got some tape holding my camera up on that USB cord. And I'm just running a little Octolapse print here. Now I like having my cables nice, neat, and organized. I found this pretty cool MagSafe style USB-C charging cable with a Type A at the end. So you can use a regular USB charging block. 5 volt, of course. And we got some little angle adapters here too, both types. Both be in the link in the description below. Plus I have a USB 5 volt eliminator. Help protect your printer in case of spikes and stuff. Now I'm going to shut it down by the Octoprint screen, or you can just use the Pi like in the menu. And since I didn't know which one adapter I needed, that's why it came with both types. And look at that. It goes right around the edge. Nice and simple. And now I'm going to plug in the USB 5-volt eliminator in here. It does not work with the Prusa. So just letting you know, but I would still try it on any other machines. And what's nice about this charge cable is that it has a Velcro strap. Go ahead and plug it in. And I'm going to just organize the back. And there we go. Nice and tidy. And now I'm going to just plug it into a charging brick. And we're all set. Not like it matters, but the top has a charge light indicator with a little halo there in blue, but it wouldn't turn on if it didn't have power anyways. So just a little thing there. And right now I have it attached to a Prusa Mini that I just received. So I'm still working out any kinks in it, but doing an Easter egg. And it's hooked up, and you see the little Octoprint logo on the screen. Pretty nice touch. And I used that mount I found for the camera on Thingiverse, and I got a longer cable. Yes, it's a little stringy. I haven't had time to tune it yet. So if you're looking to purchase this BigtreeTech Raspberry Pad 5, maybe along with the CM4, please use the link below in the description. I really hope that you found this video informative. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing. I really hope that you have a pleasant day, evening, or weekend, or whenever you decide to watch this video. Thanks again for tuning in to Tripod's Garage.